Hello, good morning, good evening, and welcome to the post-game edition of the Liga MX final version of the CantinaMX podcast. Thank you guys very much for joining us. My name is John Chagoo. I'm very, very happy that you're with us this evening, this morning, depending on where you are in these United States and all over the world. But we're very happy that you're with us. Wanted to hop on and talk about the big Liga MX final that just happened between Chivas and Tigres that ended in a 2-2 draw. We'll get into some of the happenings and occurrences, big moments of the game, and we'd love for you to join us in doing that as well on the chat live on YouTube. And of course, you can listen to this and all previous editions of the podcast on the podcast center on both iTunes and in Google Play. My name is John Chagoo, coming to you from Lakeway, Texas, here in western Travis County in the outskirts of Austin on the banks of Lake Travis. Glad you could join us with us this evening. I'm going to go ahead and introduce because he is on the East Coast and we want to make sure that we get him in before he has to go to bed. But we have to introduce our resident Aguila. Of course, I'm talking about Ronnie de Luna. Ronnie,
hey,
we missed you last week, but we're very happy that you're with us. It was a Liga MX final between Tigres and Chivas in 20 seconds or less. After you say hello, of course.
How are you doing, John? How are you doing, guys?
It's your first thought.
I was going to make an excuse as to not to come onto the show, but after the second Guiñago, I said, nah, I better come on. I need to come on.
You're not turning into a Gignaco, are you?
Nah.
All right.
It was a good game, at least for me.
It was entertaining.
Yeah. I wouldn't say
it
was entertaining, but I wouldn't say it was a great game in terms of football play. It was entertaining because obviously when you lose a 2-goal lead, obviously it's fun, especially when it's Chivas. But
I will say this: it's going to make for a very entertaining podcast for us. Is what it's going to do.
Yes.
So glad to have you on. And glad that you're staying up with us because I know it's pretty late where you are up there in the on the East Coast in Philadelphia. So thanks for coming on.
Mm-hmm.
Over in Kyle, Texas, we move this time from east to west. Over on the other side of Travis County, we have with us. Actually, you're in Hayes County. I keep thinking you're in Travis. We're actually in Hayes County. Of course, I'm talking about Albert El Chiquis Campa, Beto. Your gatitos. They probably made you a little nervous at the beginning, but in the end, the Le Grand Mieux was the one who came through for you.
I was actually sort of chuckling and laughing at Tigres as they were losing. I was, after all the talk, after all the hype for, thinking the goleada was going to happen, for them to lose,
right,
down 2-0, I was like, oh, man, now what? It'd be a huge failure for the team and for Tuca.
And then bang, they get 2 goals in the second half from the Frenchman, Gignac. And they end up taking the game over to Guadalajara with a 2-2 draw, which is completely different than being 2-0 down, which obviously we'll talk about a little bit later. But it's great to have you on, Chiquis. And again, thanks again for doing all of that hocus pocus you do to make sure that we get on the air. So Thanks very much. Joel Aceves out in South Los Angeles, who we've been talking to each other for 10 years. We're actually going to meet face to face this weekend because I'm going out to Los Angeles. So looking forward to that. You are going to show you're not going to be like Ronnie where you say, oh man, I forgot I had my high school reunion that weekend. I'm not going to be there.
I'm going to be there, John, and before and then during the game at the press box and hopefully after.
Well, that's going to be excellent. Joel, you now as I'll just say you're a Chivas fan who's struggling right now with his Chivas identity. We'll leave it at that. At the end of the first half, Joel, were you like other Chivas fans all over the world at the end of the first half. I mean, you just wanted to open your door and just just belt it out.
No, I was excited, but I knew that Tigres just needed one goal to get back in this match.
Right.
Even if they lost 2-1, I just knew that that's all they needed, that one goal. Because ultimately they're just better up top. So I mean, if they could get that one goal, it was very much I would say mental, for them, because they're a team that have lost a couple finals already. So I mean, it's in the back of their mind, especially being 2 down at the halftime. So it could be like, we're gonna choke again. So, but I knew that if they could get that one goal, then they knew that, we could fight back.
There is there was a little doubt there. There's something I want to touch base with you a little bit later, Juan. And thank you again for joining us, and looking forward to seeing you there in Los Angeles. But it seems like to me the game turned on two things. One, just Tuca putting in Damian but leaving Aquino in, I thought was huge, because it nullified whatever counter Chivas may have had. And two, I don't know if it's just because they just don't have it, or they haven't learned how to exploit it, but it seems like if Chivas had a killer instinct, they would have iced this thing. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. And last but not least, we have with us out in Escondido, California, a gentleman who, like me, has a cautious optimism for the upcoming season with our respective teams, but get to watch the game as neutrals. No loving or hating on either end, so it's good for us. Obviously, I'm a little slanted toward Tuca, but Daniel Preciado, how are you?
I'm good, John. Good evening, everyone. I can't say I'm neutral. Judging by my reaction from that second Gignac goal, I gotta say that I think I'm leaning toward Tigres. I wasn't sure, but I nearly woke up my son with that second goal.
Really?
Yeah, I was just I wasn't even
it was
expecting
quite a
it. It
goal.
was pretty spectacular. Yeah, I thought it was. The wife had a good chuckle at my reaction. I was like, yeah, it was just an incredible goal. I was just like, man, that and just a great finish, because I actually thought the game wasn't that great. I thought Chivas played an awesome game. I guess tactically, they managed to shut down Tigres almost entirely for, I guess, what was it, 85 minutes, where Tigres didn't really.
Does that little ding mean anything? Before I'm sorry to interrupt you, Dan, but does that ding, is that a specific ding, Chiquis, or is that just a random ding?
As a ding, like, is this cambia comarca or cambia what? What is Dan?
No.
No.
No, it was just a random.
Cambia norteño, maybe, I don't know. No. No, I just thought,
So you just
pretty impressed with Chivas. I was impressed with 85 minutes.
If I may, Dan,
Please.
do you possibly might consider that you might have just a little bit of a negative slant toward Chivas, maybe more so than you would toward Tigres?
Maybe just some of the fans, because I guess I don't come across too many Tigres fans. So I don't know if they would be able to.
People from the north are more refined than people from other areas of Mexico. So.
Órale.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Hay niveles. Okay, I'll just leave it at that.
Please. Well, first of all, it's hay niveles. So, but please.
As the Chivas CEO would say, hay niveles. So,
All right. Well, that's something we'll get into, but not necessarily a good game. Now, do you where did the game turn for you? Where did Tigres have things start tipping their way there in the second half? At what point?
I thought the inclusion of Dam helped them personally, helped them on the attack. I think they immediately started just generating dangerous attacking plays once he got into the game. And also Damian, he was pretty good also. I think that was a big big victory for Tigres who were in the substitutions. I don't think the Chivas subs did much to help the team.
And we've talked about that in the past. The big, Damian and Chaco, when they were Pachuca, I mean, they were really, kind of the Tigres of their day, if we want to put it in terms that folks might understand. I mean, they were the flashy team. Everyone wanted to watch them. They won us Sudamericana. They had that great series against America where Cuauhtemoc scored. And I know that you're better versed in Cuauhtemoc goals, but I have to think that free kick against Pachuca, Ron, had to be a top 3 from Temo, and then to do it in his last goal in his last game, and for America was pretty special.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, don't remind me of that game.
But anyway, they were the Pachuca, and so now fast forward 10 years later. That was 2007. It's not 2000. It's now 2017. Tuca has the ability to go to Damian and say, hey man, just give me 10, 15 minutes, of good stuff a game. If either if I need you to make a play or to ice it, just whatever you can. Trots him out there, and he gets, he did it. He helps them ice games. He helps them get equalizer like he did tonight. And then poor Cruz Azul, I mean, having to rely still on Chaco, who's more or less the same age, and is just. It just goes to show you just how deep Tigres is, that they can bring a guy like that who, and I think, Ron, I think you've heard this, that they always say that he and Sambuesa were the hardest guys to defend as far as trying to get the ball away.
Yeah, but here's, I personally, I don't think it was a good game in foot, when you're talking tactically speaking, because, I mean, obviously Chivas was sitting back. And that's what they were trying to do. But for the life of me, it's like, if you're going to sit back, there is no way in hell that you should be allowing Dam or La Chilindrina to beat you on the laterals, on the sides. And it's like, dude, if you're going to sit back, it's like, why the hell are you going to allow them to do that? So honestly, I don't think that the Chivas players did their job defensively. And I think they played defense for too long. I think they allowed, they parked the bus. Well, I mean, and I'm not saying bunkered, but they retreated, they receded their lines for too long, and I think obviously it cost them. So I don't really think that Chivas played a smart game. I think that those especially with Tuca playing cat and mouse, dude, they should have gone for the kill. They should have just gone for the kill.
I think they did. Tried to.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
They brought in
their counterattacks. Dude, they couldn't even muster up a good counterattack. When Tigres was advancing their lines, obviously giving them more space.
I'm saying he tried though, because he brought in Fierro for the speed, for the counter, but they just couldn't get it out to him.
And they didn't do it.
And Tigres also had pressure. They felt the pressure. They were down 2 at their home, so they needed to come and attack. So
and I think one thing that we have to consider though is that the amount of pressuring that Chivas did throughout the game, I think they ran out of gas.
And honestly, out of the 4 goals, I would say that 3 out of those 4 goals were mistakes. And I mean, obviously, if we're gonna do the whole semantics thing, obviously every goal comes because of a mistake. But the thing about it, there's team goals, and I don't really think, with the exception of 1, the other 3 weren't really spectacular team team building scoring goals.
And you know what, Ron? We equate exciting with good. By good I mean tactically good or tactically sound. Well played match.
Honestly, here's the thing. Like the first goal that Gignac scored, that cross where he basically scores it, and I mean he's basically he's basically striking the ball almost like going across his body and falling down. 9 out of 10 times that shouldn't even be a goal. I mean normally you want your when you receive a ball, you want your attacker basically going towards the goal, not in that way. So I don't think both teams. I don't think that neither Chivas nor Tigres were dominant tactically speaking. And like what going on, what Hole said, that the whole exciting, it was exciting. Obviously, when your team comes back and stuff like that. Obviously, there's drama and stuff like that. But I just don't think that it was a good game.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was exciting because no one was expecting Chivas to be up 2-0 at the half.
That's true.
And then
true.
to see Tigres fight back. So it was an exciting game. But I agree with Ron that I think it was very good.
You didn't like the way Chivas played, like the way they were pressuring and playing. I thought they were playing really well as far as like getting Tigres out of their game. I mean,
Well, I like how they played the first half, which I saw, even though I felt that we were a bit fortunate, and I thought Tigres was the more dominant team, and Chivas managed to.
I thought defensively they were solid in that first half. Yeah, I think they were fortunate like with the goals, but defensively I thought they shut down Tigres pretty much completely. And
What?
I just don't. I think I don't know, man. I think they weren't able to keep up.
They did force Tigres to play a little out of their element in the first half.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty unfortunate the way they lost.
But you know what?
I kind of feel they deserve to win.
I completely agree with Ron that Chivas should have gone for the kill. If they would have gotten that third goal.
To ask you, Joel, was what is Chivas, the players that they have right now, and do they have the ability to? Do they have to? Is that killer instinct something they just have to have, or is it's that they have to?
Yeah, find? You know what I saw, that they don't have it.
The reason I'm asking is that there were so many times when I had guys had a chance to take a shot or make instead of keeping it seems like they always at the moment of truth that they hesitate, they just pick something and do it, whatever it is, but they always catch themselves second guessing it. And I noticed a lot of that in
Tigres needs like another Pizarro.
And I noticed it in one of the playoff matches where Pulido received the ball and he went into the box. He didn't have a very good angle, but instead of shooting, because he could have probably forced a rebote.
Right.
He just crossed it without even looking. He crossed it into the box and without even looking. So it's. I remember this. I remember hearing this early on when I started watching soccer, and it was delanteros dentro del área tienen que ser celosos. So if you have the ball and you're in the box, you're a striker, you go for the goal. You're not looking to make a pass. And with some of these strikers, even my boy Fierro, they're the opposite, man. They always look. The one player that did have a killer instinct was Bravo. And
we got a caller from California.
He's gone. But let's go to the call.
We got a caller from Cali.
We appreciate our listeners.
Please, who is our caller from Cali? Thanks for joining us here on the CantinaMX podcast. Who do we have with us?
I'm about to drop an elbow on you guys, fellas.
Well, now that's just not a nice way to come onto a show.
that's savage.
That is savage.
I mean, say, "Hola, cabrones, aquí tienes este codazo." When you walk in the door, what the hell is that? No, I'm just kidding. Always great to have you on, Elbow. What?
This is like Ronnie's voice.
Are you having a good night, bad night? Were you happy, sad, despondent?
Oh man,
dejected.
That deflated me, man.
Deflated you. So you're done. It's over.
Yeah, it's over. But I guess at the end of the day, I wouldn't have thought we got the 2-2 tie. But man, that was deflating to have that lead that late into the game, and that was a nut there. Let
me ask you this, Elbow, and because we do have a Chivas fan that is afraid to admit how he really watches games. He's put on this. He's fooled us into thinking that he's like, oh yes, Chivas played today, whatever. So let me ask you this: when at the end of the first half, Elbow, when the commercial comes on, did you want to walk out of the house and just hit it? or were you more tempered in your enthusiasm?
No, man, I was sitting there freaking chewing on some beef jerky, man. I was stressed out. That 2-0, you know how it is, man. Never really holds up.
He was snapping into some Slim Jims.
Oh, that's a front right there, right?
Hey,
You still want to show me your cucumber?
hey, no, you know what, John? I've been through some stuff already, man. So I've seen stuff. I'm like Al Pacino in Center for Women. When he's blind and he's talking about he's seen some things. So I've seen Chivas lose. The teams I've seen them lose like some very heavy matches. So some of these defeats, they don't tickle me anymore, John.
So you've just become desensitized. You're even beyond stoic now.
Losing the Libertadores, the 106, was it 06-07, when they defeated Boca, pretty much the team to beat.
Right.
And they took him out early on in
05.
That was in 05, yeah.
They took him out early on, and then I was kind of disappointed when La Volpe calls up like the whole Chivas squad for confederations, and it's like, disappointed the team didn't fight to keep more of the players, because this is like historic. You win that cup, you could help elevate just the credibility of Liga MX, and it just seems like no one cared, or the league didn't. It should have been a bigger issue, and it was like whatever, no big deal, And,
at the very least, it should have let them, add more refuerzos.
Yeah, and then when they did reach the final, back when Real was there, and we had Bofo and they sell Chicharo, and he's playing a MLS All-Star game, like a day or two before. Yeah, it was that fluid, man, and that one, I remember, because in that tournament she was qualified, the Fiebre Porcina, and you had from the previous tournament, so they jumped Chivas right to the elimination round, and I remember Vergara saying, "Oh yeah, we're not getting any refuerzos, the refuerzos is a cantera."
So you've seen your team lose in horrible fashion. We get it.
Or very important historic games, man. So this Tigres for a liguilla, half a tourney. Come on, dude.
I don't. But here's the thing.
Come on,
this Tigres, dude. Look, I guess they're a good team, but there's a lot of spazzing, dude. There's a lot of Tigres spazzing. There has been that this is a dynasty, and that Gignac and is like he's a god and stuff like that. I like Gignac. He's a good player, but let's be honest, dude. A lot of the damn nut riding that Gignac has is because he's a European, and it's like that gives us credibility. And it's like, dude, it's like a lot of these millennials and a lot of these new kids, dude. They never saw Saturnino Cardoso in his prime. They never saw Aguinaga in his prime, and stuff like that. So it's like, I just think that it's a little too much, because I mean, let's be honest, and granted, 10 more seconds, and America would have been champion last season. Let's not pretend that that Tigres dominated in the final. They didn't, and they didn't dominate Chivas. They didn't dominate Chivas either, in this final. So I don't think that Tigres is an unbeatable, that they're unbeatable.
Well, I mean, the final they just played, 6 weeks ago against Pachuca, they lost.
Exactly.
And honestly, I mean, it was pretty apparent, at least to me. I'm sure to y'all too, that they followed the Pachuca playbook. The only difference is that they're like you said, Ronnie, their counterattacking was abysmal. But a lot of that had to do with Tigres being ready for it. So
I mean, I think that I wouldn't count Chivas out at this particular. Now, honestly, I don't. I'm kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place here. because obviously Chivas wins and they catch and they're at number 12, and they're tied with America, and I could just picture the spazzing of of the Chivas. It's like, oh my God, super Chivas.
You haven't had enough time to enjoy that lead, huh, Ron?
No,
10 more years.
But then on the other hand, that whole Tigres spazzing, dude. I'm like, I'm so tired of that crap.
Well, the way I see it, I mean, I think you're right. The Gignac angle, the fact that he's, there have been other Europeans that have played in the league. I remember when I was a kid, Lato, who had a pretty decent World Cup for Portugal. Gregor Lato was his name. Ended up playing for Atlante. I was like, really? Lato's coming? And it was so weird to see when you see like the team, it's all these guys, and then there's like this really short, bald, Polish-looking dude standing there. It was but he was, he played for Atlante, but he was way past his prime at that point. Yeah. And but Gignac, we're getting a guy in his prime, and I understand that. But to me, the thing about Tigres and where they are, this, if they can sustain it for, say, next, for a couple more years, then more power to them.
Exactly.
God bless you, Tuca. But to me, this could fizzle out like Monterrey did a few years ago, and and that'll be that.
Yeah.
And
again, I'm not hating on Gignac. I think he's a fantastic player.
You are hating on Gignac.
And I've said many times, and I said it for years, long before, back when we were still in the forums, that the Mexican league should go after European players, not just South American players, but even players. And I get it, but I just think that this the whole Tigres Gignac spazzing is kind of gone a little overboard.
Hey, to counter your point here, Ronald. Some guy on the chat says, "Let's be honest, the goal he scored today was Cardoso like." And then
what
was Cardoso like? And then another guy said, Tigres has been in. Or wait, hold on a second. Gignac has done incredible given 3 years. Cardoso had a decade. So just a couple of points on the chat.
Well, let's see if Gignac is as productive for as long as Cardoso was, dude.
Yeah, there's a reason why Cardoso has 249 goals or whatever it is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. A lot of
that guy. Here's the one thing. Here's the one thing with Cardoso. See, that guy could make just an inch, and he would. I mean, this guy is really good. I mean, Cardoso was really good.
He scored, Ronnie, because I wrote an article about this week. He scored 29 goals in one short season.
Yeah, do you remember that? I mean, that was
29 goals.
I know.
Pumas, I think this year scored 22.
Yeah.
Well, I
was happy to get 22.
If I'm not mistaken, that was the season after America broke the record of the most points in one season, which I think was 42 or 43. So yeah, I mean, Cardoso was amazing.
See, how on earth are those two things related, Ronnie? Honestly, come on.
No, I'm just saying. It's just like all the when I'm like everything that I read on Facebook and Twitter is like, oh Jesus, it's gotten to the point where the whole spazzing out is like, eh.
What do you say of this though? Jack has scored 9 goals in 6 games so far, and I think he scored 9 goals in like 12 attempts or something like that. I'm seeing some numbers out there.
Yeah.
Well, he scored out of their last.
Didn't he have to go seek a damn fitness therapist too?
Did they send him to Colombia?
I don't think that's relevant, Ronnie. I don't think that's relevant.
Saying, he was on the drought as well. I mean, I don't remember Cardoso going on.
You mean the hypnotist?
Yeah, the hypnotist or whatever.
Yeah.
It's hardly a novelty. I mean, it's well established route.
To be fair to Gignac, out of the however many goals that Tigres has scored since they've been on their little run, which started with that Tigres, he scored a whole bunch of those goals. So I mean, he really is on a bit of a tear. But you're right, Ronnie. If he does it for 3 or 4 years or 5 years or whatever it is, then yeah, we can. I
don't think that will happen though. He's 32, or he's gonna be 32.
Yeah.
There's already rumors that he might leave.
Yeah.
To La Liga. So
if I'm Gignac, I don't stay in Mexico and wash out. I leave Mexico on a high note. Leave him Gignac. You know, because I think if he does that, he can write his own ticket in Mexico.
He's planning.
As a coach, as a working for a club or whatever. But
I think he's there already.
What's that?
I mean, all the kids, all the little baby Andre Gignacs running around in Monterrey. I mean,
I agree with Dan.
He's already there.
Hey, is our Chilla hermano still on the line?
I don't think so, man. Because I mean, honestly, I mean,
you're in the minority, Ronnie. Most people are pretty fascinated with him. He's endeared himself to just to casual fan because of how, I mean, when you start throwing out the Locos y Libres sign when you're on national team duty, that kind of goes a long way for the fan base. The dude's gonna be, and he doesn't need to do it for 10 years. For as long as he's doing it, if he's doing it at a high level, they're gonna look at. He's already cemented himself as one of the better.
Do you think
foreigners that the league has seen?
Okay, what about Suazo with Monterrey?
He was awesome also.
What's that? Do you think he's got his ticket made in Mexico at the end, like where he can coach?
No.
Or
Ron, you're forgetting Hay Niveles.
No. What's that?
Yeah, dude.
He doesn't have the look, man.
Okay.
Hey, it could happen to Nacho, man.
He could be a pelon like Chelis. Nothing wrong with that. But as far as I don't necessarily think that he is at a point in his career where he wants to go do that. I mean, let's face it, he's making plenty of money at Tigres. So I don't necessarily think that he's in a place where he wants to chase the glory. He's chasing plenty of glory in Monterrey. So I think Gignac stays. And I think he does tally off his career with and he might even just stay with Tigres.
The only thing is, I think he's at the max of what they could pay him.
Oh, are you kidding?
I heard something that's around $4 million.
You don't think that they can open up the checkbook a little for Gignac?
Yeah, but
I think they can do it just fine.
The team that wants him,
put a salary on him.
I think they were talking about Valencia, and they have a new Chinese billionaire, so they could pay him just more.
Did he outbid you, Joel, for the team?
Who?
The Chinese billionaire? Well, in your attempt to purchase Valencia?
Only on Football Manager, dude.
Oh, okay. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Chiquis, that noise means we have another caller on the line.
Hey, what happened to the previous caller? He just leave?
Elpo came in, echó codazos y se fue.
They're both on, but we have.
Joel, you mentioned football. You mentioned Football Manager. You still play that?
Yes, I do, man.
What was it called before? I mean, you used to play
Championship Manager. There's still a Championship Manager. The company, it was Eidos Interactive, and then I forgot the other name, but they broke apart, and then Football Manager took the game engine, and then the others just kept the name.
No wonder you wanted to do an early podcast. You actually weren't going to go to work. You wanted to go play that, didn't you?
No, yeah. I'm at work, and I do play it at work. It's like I get paid to play that
Rafa,
game.
I think you're exactly. This is Rafa that's joining us. Caller.
What's up?
Who? Please identify yourself, sir.
Present myself.
The chat room, right, for a bit.
It's Rafa. Yeah. So we're okay. Well, thank you for joining us. Your initial thought on on what you saw this evening. What were your impressions?
I'm a Tigres fan, but I just gotta say, man, Gignac es una verga. That's I can't put it any more eloquently than that.
I could. Una verga con patas.
Hey, Rob, you've been at your gyps, man.
Oh, man.
Or la mera verga con patas.
Cucumber?
La verga con más patas.
To be completely honest, we're talking that, in the Mexican League, we've had players like, Marañao, Maxi Biancucci, as foreigners in this league and the season, like you have to like look at them and be like, right on. Like this is an example that other teams should follow.
Well, to Ronnie's point earlier when he was saying, years ago back in the pre-podcast days that Liga MX should go after European players. Because they're one of the few leagues that can afford to pay players and pay them well. So yeah, they should have been doing this. So they should have been doing it for a long time. And hopefully, I always feel that if Gignac scores that goal the last summer against Portugal in the 92nd minute or whatever it was, if the shot goes just a few inches over, then imagine what that would have done for Tigres and Liga MX at that point as far as publicity.
You know what? I agree with you completely, mostly because like Arsenal is like I guess the best way to describe them is like the Democratic Party. Like they have a bunch of diehards that think that their team mustn't change. But like, yeah, they're like the Democratic Party. It's like they think that they're completely like, it's like they're content with just being better than Tottenham, even though like, yeah, they're shitting on Tottenham now, but like just in the same way they were shitting on Chelsea like in 04, 05.
What did
he's done since then, and what? And
explain to me how we got from Tigres to Arsenal. What was the
pub MX now?
How do we bridge that?
Say again?
How do we go from Tigres to Arsenal? You're not like Ronnie that start dropping the. Oh yeah, I remember that happened. It was 3 years after America did this amazing thing that forgot about.
Oh, it's mostly because I hate Giroud and I hate Arsenal. Like I'm a complete neutral, but I think like their fans are annoying as all hell.
Oh, okay. So now I understand the connection. So you have Giroud and you have Gignac. I understand.
But
so as a Tigres fan, you have to be pretty confident going into the second leg then, because I mean it seems like the perception is that Guadalajara kind of shot their wad and that's that.
Like, but it's. I feel like Tigres have kind of taken a bit of the momentum, like just because the away goals is in effect. So
away goals are no longer in effect. This is a straight up tie.
Yeah, I know that's. I feel that definitely benefits Tigres, just because it's the fact that they have a deeper bench gives them a huge edge if it ends up going into overtime or extra time rather.
Is that where this is headed? Is it going extra time? Can you handle, as a Tigres fan, can you handle it going into extra time? If you're a smoker, would that be like
at this point? Like I mean, just after the Pumas final, and like the Pumas final was terrible for me like a couple of years ago, because I remember telling my girlfriend.
You felt dirty winning that, didn't you? You did not want to win it like that.
No.
You can admit it to me.
I remember telling during that final, the Pumas final, I told my wife, it's like, watch this with my dad a little bit, como dicen los Mexicans, vamos a dar la vuelta olímpica, it's a guaranteed victory with a 3-0 aggregate, and it ends up going to overtime, and she has never let that go. I told her, no, I'm going to be there for like.
And then not only does Pumas tie it, but they hit the post like 2 minutes after they tied it. So it couldn't be possible that we have a third corner right now.
Several times in that game.
I would hope so, but ultimately you ended up winning, so that was important. So you think Tigres will just go ahead and do the Vuelta Olímpica at the end of the game there in the zombie life?
Man, I don't know. Like I said, it's like I wish I could.
Dude, how could you? Come on, dude. What kind of fan are you? What kind of fan are you? Seriously.
I mean, like, look at it this way. It's like all this. Like, I'm a realist. Like, I could say like like the whole talk about Tigres being a dynasty. I'd agree if we would have won Libertadores, one of the Conca champions. But as it stands, like I'm kind of like indifferent, It's like, we like if Tigres would have gotten those two won like either Libertadores and the Conca Champions, we would be talking about a legit dynasty. We would be talking about the team of the decade. But it's we shot ourselves in the foot.
Hey, we got 4 callers on here.
We have 4 callers. Well, we need to let some of our callers go. But thanks for tuning in, Rafa. I really appreciate it.
We got
Be
Sigfredo and we
back
got
later and drunken.
I will. That's always good information. Who else do we have on the call?
we got
Gents, I'm going to go ahead and drop off here so you guys can get some more callers in.
Thanks.
All right, man. Later, Aldo.
Who was that?
We got Sigfredo from Milwaukee and somebody straight out of Compton.
Wow.
What's up, homie?
Who did we have from Milwaukee?
Sigfredo.
Oh, okay.
Sigfredo from Milwaukee.
It's Milwaukee. It's
Oh,
Algonquin.
Milwaukee.
Yeah,
What's going on?
I would just like to say that I think it's amazing what Chivas was able to do. I think that a lot of people thought this was a foregone conclusion that Tigres was just going to mop the floor with them. And
Are you a Chiva hermano?
and considering that how well they came out and played it that first half on the road, it was incredible. And what they always say that the most dangerous score in soccer is the 2-0 scoreline, and I think tonight showed that. And I just find it amazing that they're able to do all this stuff with Vergara being a complete moron and running the team literally almost into second division.
Well, that's one of the questions I wanted, and thanks for your comment, Joel, was the 2 goal scorers tonight for Chivas. I know it was on rebotes, and I get that, but it was still Pulido and Pizarro. The $36 million worth of goals in the final, right there. I didn't know if you noticed that or not, Joel.
No, sir, I did not.
You did not. It didn't cross your mind once that the 2 big signings were the ones that got the goals.
I was just excited to see the team 2 up.
Joel, is it did the Chivas blow their wad, or are they or can anything happen there?
No, anything can happen, man. It's Liga MX, very unpredictable. But the Chivas strikers do need to be on point. If they're not, just because Tigres has their strikers are more lethal. We just spent talking about Guignac, but and we talked about this earlier, how some of the other Chivas players they don't have that killer instinct.
I think what ultimately is going to hurt Chivas is that I guess they're inexperienced playing these type of games. I think that Tigres,
I would almost think that would work to their that's something that could be used to their advantage. Say, hey, man, yeah, you've never played one of these games before, but you know what? Guess what? They're just like all the other games, and then they go out there
they do have Copa MX experience, man.
Well, come on, I'm not trying to knock Copa MX, but I remember a long time ago, Joel, you made a point about the 93 Copa America team from Mexico and how they lost to Argentina. With las mañas, o sea, the South American players playing, mañosos and
yeah, they got him on a throw-in.
Exactly, those type of things, It's and I think that Tigres, that may play to Tigres' advantage of learning how to play this, using the environment, using the officiating to one's advantage, and I think that may affect. I think that's where Chivas may be at a disadvantage. One thing that I do give Chivas is that it seems like they're more a dynamic team, but dynamic can only get you so far. And I think that, the whole saying of the early bird gets the worm. I've always said it's the dirty bird that gets the worm,
Yeah, they're lacking that punch, that final punch, because they play good and they create chances, but they have now, one win in 10 games. So that says a lot
that was
about.
the first time since March that they'd scored more than 1 goal in a game.
Yeah, so I mean they're just missing that, and just how they're missing it, the players are there. So if you could just have a trophies or a Pulido or have
And Trophies did not play
just have
tonight.
a really good night and turn the tables. But
Maybe we got our Compton guy.
we'll wait and see.
Oh, we have to introduce a guy who's straight out of Compton.
Yeah, well, not Compton. I don't know why it's popping up as that. It's from LA.
Oh, wow.
Who am I speaking to?
This is John. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, man, Johnny Canales, take it away, buddy. So, look, I had a question for you guys. I wanted to know, what does the result of tonight's game do for the morale of either team going into Sunday? Like, I'm sure the Chivas came into the game thinking they were going to lose, and at best, maybe like hope for a tie. I mean, is it worse for Chivas if they were up but 2 goals with about 5 minutes left in the game, and to like end up the game with the tie? I mean, or is it worse for Tigres that they couldn't really score a goal for most of the game, and it was kind of miraculous that the way they tied the game?
I got a point on that. I got an answer for that real quick. I was seeing some tweets calling the Chivas, loss of the lead, Cruzas Miliar, which I don't particularly agree with that, but that's on one side, and on the other side, Tuca was going crazy after that second goal, as if they won the whole title. So I think the momentum that points to the momentum really being, even though it's a tie, on Tigres' side, and maybe not so much on Chivas. So.
Well, I mean, I don't think that Chivas is like devastated that they ended up because I mean, honestly, it's just halftime. They have 2 legs. They are going home. To me, I think Chivas probably learned that we can actually we can hang with these guys, and we as we have pointed out.
But you know what, gentlemen,
we need to do it.
The pressure will be on Chivas because Tigres, they did lose a final recently, but they're going for a bicampeonato as opposed to Chivas, who hasn't won in 11 years, and they're at home. So just those 2 things, it's getting away on some of the players.
John, I think you described it well earlier. You said, what did you say? They blew their load. They
Tigres their wad. Tigres took their biggest shot, and they got knocked down, but they came back up.
I think that's exactly right.
I don't think I don't think so. I think that Tigres are the favorites, obviously, because everybody's not riding them.
No, I'm saying pressure-wise, not that they're the favorites, just that they have more pressure to get the win because they're at home and they haven't won in 11 years, as opposed to Tigres, who they're going for a bicampeonato. But
now I got a question.
Joel, what if they trotted out Bofo as the honorary captain?
He's they've been inviting him just to hang out in the stadium. So.
Do you think? What if Chicharito goes to the game on Sunday? Which he could do.
Oh, it would be nice, but I mean, I don't think
that'll
help.
Beto? Having Chicharito there, as a role model.
Not gonna matter.
Okay, no, all right. Never mind. He doesn't want to bike. But anyhow, hey, Joel, changing subjects, or would you prefer? Because Chivas is going to be in next year's Conca Champions. And it's been a while since they've played in an international tournament.
It's been like 5 years, 6 years. It's been a while. Not that hasn't been that much. But go ahead.
But the thing is, they haven't won one since
56.
Like the mid
61.
There you go.
Yeah. I think we didn't even reach the moon by that point, right? No. It's been a while.
Hey, they did forfeit the second one that they could have won. For the good of Liga MX, they forfeited the final.
What would you prefer? This win, Liga win, or the Conca Champions?
I'll take a Conca Champions.
You would?
Yeah, because it takes you to a FIFA Clubs World Cup.
Okay.
And also not having international silverware,
So I mean, do you think that how America's got 12, Chivas has 11, and stuff like that. But one of the things that kind of
how many does America have, Ron?
I believe they have six Conca champions, one Giant, two Interamericanas. So I mean, they have a lot. They have a lot. You know.
By the way, John, Ron knows the story of why Chivas forfeited
Yes, I'm
a
sorry.
Conca Champions Cup, because they did back to back, and they got to the final.
They couldn't agree on on dates, on the scheduling.
So they forfeited.
Like that.
Who did they forfeit to?
Yeah. I think
like Motagua or something.
No, something was Transvaal. I think it was some team from the Caribbean. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
El W connection.
I'm not too sure on that name, but yeah, the other team won by default. Yeah. No, but Chivas needs that. They do need that exposure, and then going to the FIFA Clubs World Cup. I mean, it's
so that they can lose to the African team.
Hey, no, I think Chivas. That's the thing about Chivas. I mean, if we saw one thing at Libertadores was they were one of the best, if not the best, Mexican team that played in that tournament. So I mean,
I will concede that 2005 run was pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
And I hate to say, but I still think that the best run that a Mexican team had in the Copa Libertadores in terms of play. I mean, obviously Tigres, Chivas, and Cruz Azul have reached the final, but I still think that the best run was the 2000 edition when America went all the way to the semifinals, and they basically lost.
See, he can't help himself. He's praising Chivas.
Yeah.
But he's got to slip in that. But you know what it reminded me of, Joel? It reminded me of when America had made it. Just to remind you.
You guys want me to tell you about when America had to play? I think 5 games in 8 days.
Yeah, but in their brutal flights to Morelia.
Yeah, Morelia and River, they had to play. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. No. I think they need that international exposure, and then it's not that difficult to. Easier said than done, but it's not difficult to make a final. You just have to be like prepare right and concentrate for that.
Starting next season, they won't even have to worry about Conca Champions in the Apertura. It'll all be Clausura, because they go straight into the round of 16. They don't have to. Mexico teams will no longer be playing group stage in the Conca Champions.
And John, we talked about this not too long ago, but we saw how it just comes down to how you play the teams, because we saw how that what was it, a Chinese team, Korean team that was giving it to Real.
Right.
So I mean, it's just the mentality, and going there. But someone's going to say something.
It was the Japanese team that was the.
Let Yams finish his thought. Go ahead, man.
We had a comment on the chat from Soccer Nerds. I don't think I could take any more Ronnie whining on a 2-2.
I'm glad you're reading it. I was reading it too, and I was just like, yeah, I'm in total agreement with this guy. Total salt coming out of Ronnie for some reason. I think anytime somebody does well and is commanding the spotlight, he's like, oh, you know what though.
He thought I was
all the flavors to choose.
Even though nobody's actually saying that he's as good as any one guy or another, he's not as good as that guy. He's not that good. That's Ronnie.
Actually, Yam.
I'm not quite sure what that was. Okay, so let's move on to the second leg. So it's Sunday. I think it's at 6 local, 4 LA time, and then like 7 Eastern. I mean, should they even play the game? Should we just go ahead and give the trophy to Tigres, or does Chivas actually have a chance in this game? Joel.
90 minutes, man. I think they have a chance.
Do you have any plans for it?
I'll say, no, not really. Not any plans, but
so you don't have like one like like Chivas fan, you can call up and like, hey man, and that's all you have to say. You'll say, come on over, and then y'all can watch the game together.
Nah,
Or do you,
I don't even put on the jersey, man.
Do you suffer in silence?
Yeah, I prefer to do my self-loathing and by myself.
Yeah. Do you watch the game? What was that movie, The Da Vinci Code, where the priest is whipping himself? Is that how you watch Chivas games? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, John, do you remember that the movie Necessary Roughness?
Vaguely. I remember it was shot in Denton, which was like 40 minutes from where I was when I was going to school up there. But yeah, I remember. Was there a scene? Was Kathy? Was there a scene where a guy was doing that?
No.
Catholic priest. No?
There's a scene when the dean of the school he what do you call it? He gets a scrimmage game against a bunch of convicts.
Yes.
And they had Roger Craig and
Michael Irvin and Jerry Rice. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, and the team, they're getting their clocks clean, and the dean, he's like just kind of like peeking from the corner, and he's just loving it that his team is getting his ass kicked. I'm trying to find the clip because I want to make an anti-gif because that's Joel right there. He's just watching from the corner, getting his team getting his ass kicked. He's just loving it.
Bro, you guys remember those Mexican sexy comedias from the 80s?
Yeah,
Luis Alba and Sayas.
Yeah, love that. Hey, speaking of which, it's on Netflix. There's one called El Sexo Me Divierte, number 2.
Number 2.
Was it better? Was it better than number 1?
I never saw it. I never saw the first.
Some of those movies will be part 2 and 3 together.
Yeah, they're hilarious. But there's a scene with Facundo. I guess you guys should watch that clip with Facundo. It's hilarious. But anyhow, I
don't know if you remember it, and I've been looking for it, and I'm going crazy because I can't find it. But I remember seeing one, and they were all panaderos. They worked in a bakery, and they get a scrimmage against Cruz Azul. And this is the 80s. This was like this was the epic Cruz Azul team, and it's just real funny, the whole scrimmage. Did any of you guys see that?
No, I didn't see that one.
Yes, is that like the one thing where it's like no one remembers? It's like the Mandela effect. Questioning myself now.
Well, remembers that Cruz Azul was good?
No,
or remember seeing the movie?
I remember seeing the movie. It's just funny. They have a rumble. They had a gay dude in there. It's brilliant.
Which Cruz Azul was this? Was this like the Wendy Mendizábal Camacho Cruz Azul or the?
Oh man, I was too young, man, to remember that.
Man, I was doing some research on a piece that I wrote this week, and all that Cruz Azul stuff that Marquitos brought out of me a few months ago when he was talking about Cruz Azul. It all came back looking at the Miguel Marin stuff, man. I was like, oh man. And Tigres too, and that's one thing that I wanted to talk to y'all about this evening was, people, as you said, Ronnie, they're trying to. A lot of folks are trying to see, where does this team measure up to other teams, and they've got to measure up to the teams that they've had in their own history, and maybe they're better than the one from the late 70s, early 80s, but I mean that team was damn good. I mean they're. And I always feel like it, back then, I think it was a lot more competitive as far as there were a lot more teams that were really, really, really good in that era compared to now where it's just a crapshoot. You just don't know. I mean, back then there were teams that were consistently good.
I think since '96, when the season went from long to short, since then, I think that really we can say that there's only been one dynasty, and that's Toluca.
Right.
Although I would give an honorable mention to 3 teams, Pachuca, America, and Tigres, like the current Tigres right now. I wouldn't necessarily say that those teams were dynasties, neither America, this Tigres or Pachuca, although they were more consistent more than 2-3 years. But this is why I think that that Toluca's dynasty in the late 90s, early 2000s, and even going into almost, to 2010s and stuff, is that one of the things that the short season did was that you had to, the teams were changing, rosters were changing every 6 months. So to get that group dynamic, to get that group chemistry is tougher. And I think that they managed it. I think Lebrija, I think he's probably the best, better than Cañedo, better than anybody. I think he's probably been the best club president in the history of the league, more so than Cañedo with America back in the 60s, 70s, and even Cruz Azul, what's his name, Alvarez, father.
Right.
Because I think doing it, recently when the competition was better and there was more money involved and, teams, there was more parity, I think what Lebrija did is more commendable, that's my opinion.
It is pretty impressive. Now, they won 4 titles in that time span, but they played. I mean, they were always in it. I mean, it wasn't as if they'd have a good season and a bad season. I mean, they were just an incredibly consistent team. You're right. Now, he did have a couple of really, really good anchors in place that helped him build. Put pieces that weren't necessarily as important, a lot more expendable. But you have to be able to do. I mean that's almost the harder part than finding the superstars. And you're right. He did manage that quite well. And I also wouldn't mind throwing in Monterrey that did that a few years ago with Vuse that was at least for a short period, just very dominate the league.
Yeah.
So
we have a Salvador V, which I believe that is the Metal.
Metal.
Metal. He says, "Fire that Ronnie guy and bring back Hearn and the long season."
Wow.
That's cold-blooded, man.
That's cold-blooded, man. That's cold-blooded. Sacando las uñas, tío. Can't believe you. Tío sacando las uñas.
That is so harsh. That is
tío,
so harsh.
I need you to call the hotline. El hotline.
Speaking of sacando las uñas, the Chivas del Norte guys are sacando las uñas on Twitter.
No, see, again, I mean, it just seems like how many Joel and you seem to have a finger on the Chivas pulse more than others. But how many Chivas fans do you think Joel at the end of that first half were thinking to themselves, here it comes. We've waited 11 years for this. It's going to happen for us at halftime.
The majority, John, I'll say a good 80%.
80% of Chivas fans were
especially the newer fans.
Se iban a ir a la Minerva. They were ready to go.
They were halfway there, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I get it, man. It's been a long time, and for some of these fans, they've never seen Chivas win an actual league championship. So I mean, I can't blame them. It's necessary roughness, though.
It's a different breed of it's a different breed of fan nowadays. Joel. I think it.
Yeah, no, it's changed a lot. It's become more fair weathered.
Yeah.
Overall with fans that I've noticed. I just recently when Cholos came up, I started seeing their jerseys everywhere, and friends that I knew that were fans of other teams, they were now repping Cholos, and I was like, so yeah, and with just because there's way more soccer available now, pretty much every day you go see games and from different leagues. So fans are a lot of times invested even in other teams. They'll have and I think I don't know if you remember this, Ron, when we started seeing this in big soccer, where you could put the team that was your favorite team, and when we started posting, people would just have one team.
Yeah.
And then after a few years, they'll have 5 teams on their list.
Yeah.
They have Real Madrid, Brazil, and
So you have their team, and then either Real Madrid or Barcelona, one or the other.
Yeah, one of the top teams from the top leagues, like Bayern and all that.
But see, but that was before the whole Twitter internet and like that, where you could watch basically every league. I mean that type of stuff was reserved usually for people that came from countries that didn't have established leagues or didn't have quality leagues. So. Hey Beto, what are the guys from the other podcast saying? Or what are they saying?
Stray Goat actually told one of the guys to call in.
Well, we just got a caller right now.
Who'll be the caller?
It's R.A.
There he is. That's the guy Stray Goat told to call. What's up, man?
What's up, guy?
How you guys doing?
You done with
it's Rigo? Well, my name's Rigo, but
you done with your podcast?
Twitter, obviously. And I was like, you know what? Let me just call in.
Dude, you're speaking, but we can barely hear you. You need to repeat what you're saying.
We just finished our podcast, and I'm on the East Coast, and I was about to go to sleep, and I was like, you know what? Let me just call in.
So what? So as I'm assuming you're a Chivas fan, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
No, you are correct. So at halftime tonight, how did you want to step out into the out of your house or your apartment and just rip one, or were you more reserved?
I'm more of the I'm gonna wait till the final whistle kind of guy.
Okay.
I like to celebrate early.
Yeah. Were you singing Guadalajara in your heart at least?
Yes.
Okay.
In my mind, I was already at La Minerva crying.
Yeah.
Stuff like. But on the surface, I was calm and ready. For
now, would you agree with Joel that about 80% of Chivas fans at halftime were thinking that this thing's in the bag, we're going to be champions?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I had a friend here in my house who was like, "Yo, I can already smell La Doce," and I was like, "Bro, like, first of all, this team can score on you at will. Secondly, like, let's not count our chickens before they hatch." So
would it be safe to assume that I can call you and Joel both a 20%er because you guys are like the more realistic Chivas fans, and there's not that many of you?
Yeah, you could say that. I'm pretty realistic. I mean, I've been through so much disappointment between La Selección and Chivas that I try to be as realistic as possible. If you guys ever listen to a Chivas and the podcast, you'll notice that I'm always the more pessimistic one. I mean, we did a podcast last week to lose this game. So yeah.
Now that said, if Chivas does lose, are they going to have to hide all the sharp objects in your house?
I predicted
for about 30 to 45 minutes.
The first leg. I think we're going to win. I thought we were going to win regardless. It just feels like it's Chivas season. Like things just keep falling into place. I said this earlier in our podcast where it's like, at the second half of the season, our season kind of fell apart because we were trying to play two tournaments at one time, and we still ended up finishing in third place because everybody else's season also fell apart except for Tigres, who came on late. So it just kind of feels like it's our season, like it's our time to win. Because it's not now, I don't know when.
Well, you have to wait about every 10 to 11 years, so that's usually the.
Yeah, so that's exactly what it is.
See, and then you enjoy this one, and then about 2028, 2029, you get ready for the next one.
John, I wouldn't go that far. When you have a team that reaches the final, they usually stay competitive for a good 2-3 years.
Well, so you think that the Chivas Comet might make a quick return, Joel?
The Comet just stays in orbit, dude.
Oh, I see. So it just sticks around.
Hey, it's like look, Chivas before Campeonísimo, they were El Llamerito. So I gotta
tell you, Joel, and fellow Chivas fan caller. I see a lot of Yamerito in this team, and I'm not. I don't want to see it. I do.
Well, look, the past 3 seasons they finished top 4, so it's
I'm
all
not
been.
talking about the team, I'm talking about the individual players. I think the players themselves are.
No, but that's you start building consistency. So you have consistency in the league, and then in Liguilla, and eventually you'll just win.
But Joel, I don't think that you guys are gonna be competitive for that long because World Cup is right around the corner, and some of the players from Chivas, I see them moving on so close to the World Cup, cycle. So I don't know if they're going to be competitive for that long, because some of the players that Chivas has, I think that they're talented, and I think that they may move on.
I mean, Chivas is not going to sell an Orbelin or Pizarro unless they're going to Europe, because nobody's going to pay their price. And yeah, I can see that happening. I can definitely see Orbelin leaving after this summer because he's just that talented. He's only 21 years old. But do I see Chivas with Almeida being a contender for the next, 3-4 seasons? Yeah, if Almeida's there, I think so.
Yeah, so that's the thing, though. I don't think he's going to stick around because I think that the minute he gets.
I think the only place. Almeida's going to get a lot of offers, but I think for him, the more lucrative place to replace Carlos Osorio.
Hey, I don't think he needs to stick around for the team. Even if we look back at the 06 Campeonato, that team started with other coaches until Chepo took it and he won. But he had Hans before that, and
that you can win championships with different in a quick succession with different coaches. So
it's mostly I'll place it more on the squad than on the coach. If you can maintain the squad, a good core group, then you have a better chance.
You have to have a balance with Chivas. You have to have a balance of La Cantera. And you have to have a balance of guys that you're bringing in that are gonna, actually bring some sort of talent and game to the team. Because you can buy guys. They bought guys before. They bought Felipe Peña, who stunk. They bought Aldo Dominguez, who stunk. So it's not about just buying guys; it's about buying quality guys, which I think they've been doing now.
And I'm sure you noticed that the quality purchases they made recently were the ones that got the goals tonight.
Yes. Although
if Almeida wins, if Almeida wins, Sunday, he writes his ticket to the national team.
Yep.
Well, that's what he wants.
Yeah.
Carlos, I think you're right. The national team.
Well, it's a good move for him because the national team would get him more international exposure, and I'm sure ultimately his end game is to. Not necessarily just coach in Europe. I think that he wants to coach for one of the G16 teams.
Now, my question to Joel is now, if Chivas wins and Maeda writes his ticket to the national team, knowing that Mexico has a coach in Osorio, are you gonna self-load on Mexico, Joel?
What? No.
Are you sure?
Dude, don't we all self-loathe on Mexico? I mean, come on, let's face it.
No, but I'm just saying it's just that Joel doesn't like Almeida because, and I understand his position because Chivas still had a coach and.
But see, the thing about Joel, it's all emotional with Joel because Almeida was a home wrecker. He came in and knocked his boy out. That's why he didn't like Almeida.
Joel is right about that. That's a code. You're not supposed to do that.
Well,
he did break the bro code.
Doing that. Part was Higuera, but you gotta take some of that blame too. But just Austin de la Torres, man. I know people dislike him, but their family has added
here's
8 of the 11 stars. This family added. They put it in there.
It's okay for Almeida to come and for a. Maybe to listen to see what's going on, as a possible, hey, if this doesn't work out with Chepo, then we'll bring you on. But don't show up to Guadalajara with 4 huge suitcases full of clothes.
No, you know what? I give Almeida credit. I went hard on him on Twitter, and he didn't block me, man. As opposed to Carlos Albert and
Carlos
Jose Luis
Albert blocked.
Higuera.
Do you
Yeah,
cuss?
I don't.
Oye,
No, I didn't even remember when it
usas
came.
groserías, Joel. Is that why they block you?
Not at all, dude. Not at all. But so I
Or do
mean,
you
I give him credit.
Do you give him a reality check?
No, he's a good coach, but I did dislike that about him, but I never took credit away from him. So that's misconception, man. Alternative facts.
I love Almeida. I feel like, you know, win or lose championship, I love Almeida. I think he's a great. I think he goes out there and you know that his team has a style of play that they want to play. And tactically, for 85 minutes today, his tactics were working. I think where he failed was in his substitutions, and it's not just, you know, the substitutions. It's just that the fact that Chivas doesn't have the talent on the bench because of injury.
Well, the thing is that Chivas doesn't have a guy like a Damian Alvarez on the bench. You know, Damian is good for 15 minutes at the most, and can give you 2 or 3 really good plays. And Chivas just doesn't have a guy like that.
Right. But you have Isaac Brizuela, Carlos Cisneros, who's injured, Saldívar, and I think any of those guys could have made a difference tonight. I thought bringing in Del Ponte was a terrible move. Bringing in Martinez was a terrible move. I mean, pretty much all the substitutions he made were terrible, and they were noticeable because they ended up costing us the goals because it disrupted the way the organization was on the field.
So it wasn't 85. It was more like 45 minutes of good ball, and the rest they just got lucky.
No, I wouldn't say that,
because they were defending the whole second half.
Tigres wasn't doing it. You can have the ball and not do it.
Well, there's a difference, Chiquis. I mean, they were defending, but they were defending well because Tigres really didn't start getting they
needed Dam in
the really good chances to lay, and that was probably because, as Dan said, they're probably a little more tired than they realized. I mean, we got a seriously heavy breather on the line right now, like almost.
Yeah, once Dam came in and Alvarez, then they started getting better, and the goals came in, but they were possessing. They were sort of getting close with some crosses and stuff, but Chivas was on their heels.
I thought the crosses weren't very dangerous. I thought the most dangerous play before the goal was the Dueña shot, where they counterattacked. And then before that, I mean, they had possession, but Chivas were defending them really well.
Right. Yeah. So it's one thing to be, if you're going to defend well. Don't be like hanging on for dear life. And Chivas at no point was defending like that. They were. Yeah. Tigres had very few clear chances up until about the 75th, up until the 75th minute. Now to me, the key to the entire game was when they put Damian in and they didn't take Aquino out. They took the other guy out. Aquino was not having a good game. Who was the guy that was?
Vincula.
Sanchez.
No, Sanchez. Sanchez had dominated Aquino. Aquino did not. He just didn't do anything. So, but he knew he had to keep Aquino in because Aquino is so. He's very good defensively and he's fast, and that nullified a lot of the counterattacks that Chivas could have had if it was just Damian back there. So that was that to me was the biggest piece of the game, is not just by bringing on Alvarez but leaving Aquino in and making him play the wing back position, because that nullified Chivas's counterattack quite well actually, and so I do give full credit to Tuca for making that adjustment, and you're right though, Chiva Hermano, the substitution that Almeida made just didn't seem to, whatever it was that he was doing, it didn't seem to work out for him, and ultimately ended up costing him. Now it's 2. Now I asked Joel said anything can still happen. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you like Chivas' chances on Sunday?
I'd say probably an 8.
An 8. That is that is very so okay. So if Chivas does win, are you gonna step out of your house on Sunday evening and do or are you gonna internalize again?
I had it tomorrow morning. I'll be at the game.
You will be there. You will be in Guadalajara.
Yeah, I'll be in Guadalajara at the game. So win or lose. I think I'm going to cry regardless whether it's a win or a loss. So I figure, like you said, Chivas only makes it once every 11 years. In 11 years, I'll be a dad. Won't be able to take these opportunities to go on a whim to go see my team playing a championship. So I think this is the opportunity to go now.
Well, have a great have a great trip. Hope everything works out for you, win or lose. Hopefully, have a good time. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. Hey, no
Cheers.
problem. Thank you guys for having me on.
Oh, of course, it was a pleasure. Thanks for hopping on.
No problem.
Chiquis, yeah, we appreciate it, man.
So 80% chance of moving of winning.
Yeah, Joel, are you at 80 or are you closer to?
No, I'm at like 40.
You're at 40.
40-60 in favor of Tigres. They have, going off what Chivo Hermano said, there has been a good, you could say luck factor where they've, you can say you create your own luck. So given all the downfalls they've had, they've managed to get as far as they have. So that helps them a bit. But I just think if Tigres, this game is for Tigres to lose. And I think if they play the match right, just because they create more chances, of goal. Ultimately, that's how you win the game, scoring goals. So if the team that's going to be creating more chances, odds are going to be in their favor.
All right, Joel, I'm going to put you on the spot, right? And you have to answer, but I'm putting you on the spot. Chivas wins. Who is the bofo of this game? Just what does your gut tell you? Just
it'll be Pizarro, man.
Pizarro. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, some of the players, and that's I had Chivas, and we wrote the article, John, at the start of the season too. And
you did. You picked Chivas to
winning
to win
it. Yeah, I did, and all the injuries ultimately hindered that. I think if they would have had, if they would have had their full squad, then I would have made them favorites. They would have had the whole squad, but just going through all the injuries that they've had, players just not being fully fit.
So is that a testament, the fact that they've been able to make it this far? They're on the cusp of winning their 12th title, tying America once again for most titles in Liga MX history. Is that a testament to the coach or to the players or the entire organization that they've been able to keep together, knowing that their roster has been decimated by injuries?
No, I think they all play a role in this. Some of the players have been there for a while now.
What about the Lavanderas? Did the Lavanderas play a role?
Yeah, man. Why not?
Yeah.
But and in some part, what people don't mention is that we were a bit fortunate that Almeida stayed because they were about to kick him twice. They would kick him to the curb twice.
Well, I mean, how about that, Joel? You let a guy, put in what he wants to do, give him a chance to get the players he wants, and by some crazy miracle, they start getting results. Who would have ever thought that would work?
Consistency, right, John? But we had, and this is straight from the coaches, telling the press straight out, I was offered the job and I didn't want to take it. This is not even speculation. The coaches like Sampaoli and Vucetich straight out said it. He just threw Chivas under the bus. That's around the time that they ended up giving Almeida that lucrative 5-year extension.
Right.
Because if he leaves because of that, Chivas is going to be right back to being in the mess that got him in the relegation zone.
If Chivas wins, Joel, does that bump Tuca from the Bomberos, from the first Bombero position?
No, Tuca has a long trajectory to just be judged on one final, and then going into the World Cup. This Mexico squad's just they don't have the stones to win it, man. hurts to say it, but that's, you know. So I think Tuca has, you know, one of the major things with selección is to try to keep the ambiente or try to keep a good group, and Tuca already showed that he could do that.
Right.
As opposed to Almeida, you know, that I know people are calling for him, a sector of you know, but I wouldn't put him over Almeida. I mean, Ferretti.
So Tuca still has first fireman status in your eyes.
I mean, if he wants it, you know.
Well, yeah,
if
if
he
he
wants
wants
it.
it, you know, hopefully it won't come to that, and then, you know.
But you know what? You also need backing from the other presidents. So there's a story that I heard a while back that Higuera was in one of the meetings of FMF, and he brought up like, don't think of getting Almeida, and the reaction was that the people just laughed. You know, the other presidents just laughed because it was like he's not even one of the candidates.
Right. Or he just laughed thinking, dude, we can take whoever we want.
That, yeah, you're more positive there, John.
Yeah, it's one way.
I would say it was both, though. It was both.
One way or the other. Now, before we wrap it up, I know we've been talking a lot about the Tigres, and rightly so. It's the final. It's two really good teams. I will say that I really enjoyed Paco Villa's call in the second half. Man, that dude knows how to call a game, and he is terrific. That is the best. It's like it's hard for me because I do believe that he is the best at least Spanish language announcer for soccer in this country right now. But we're not going to get to see him in the World Cup because we're going to be soon. It's going to be Telemundo, and there's nothing wrong with the Telemundo guys. The Telemundo guys are great, but Paco Villa is just absolutely tremendous. I mean, what a great announcer he is. I really enjoy the way he calls a game. I don't know if y'all feel the same way or not, but I was really he made it very entertaining. It was fun. How do you feel about Nestor Joel as an analyst?
You know, I like hearing his insights.
Yeah. I seem to think that he is just a little. He's overly negative when it comes to. Like he'll always, whenever a play happens, he'll point out more what a player did wrong than what the guy did to pass him up or to get by him or to score, whatever it is.
Well, I think that's what you have to focus on to improve your team. I mean, more what you did wrong than what the other team did right.
So you think it's just his instinct as a general manager that comes out when he does that?
Yeah, I do think so. It's you know, and they would do it with the coach too. I think Almeida could have benefited if he had a good, proper general manager to help him up there.
When you're constantly looking for the warts, does it blind you from the other stuff?
No, it can't. But I mean, this dude's been on the game all his life, so I mean, I know, I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
Will he get another crack somewhere else, Nestor?
I don't think he wants. I don't think he wants it. I think he's hardcore Chivas, and I just don't see him wanting to be involved.
It's either national team or Chivas, and that's it for him.
Yeah, I mean, because all the politics and how much of a mess it is, so it's like.
But why don't they let him run the the subsidiary?
No, that belongs to Higuera, and Higuera hates Nestor. He tried blocking him from going to the stadium.
Do you think Higuera has blocked Nestor on Twitter too?
most likely, but and they tried to get Nestor to talk about it, and he just refused.
Yeah, did he say my lawyers have advised me against it?
No,
against discussing this matter.
No, he just said it wasn't worth talking about. Yeah. But I mean, for Higuera to do that, it's like his just family is historic. What they've done for Chivas, and then to try to dismiss it, it's like. It's that kind of trying to rewrite history, just put all the spotlight on him.
The second thing I noticed about since we last spoke was last night, in fact, Carlos Peña, el Gulit, was evidently going to be on his way to Scotland. But he hasn't been playing for the national team for a while, so it's going to be kind of hard for him to get his work permit. But I'm sure that they'll be able to find a way to get him over to Rangers. How's that going to work? I mean, if he was homesick just being in Guadalajara, how's he going to handle playing in Scotland?
Well, I
Copious
think
amount of ale, John.
I think what happened with Gullit is that he didn't want to go to Chivas, and we've seen that many times where a player does not want to go to a certain team. Like for example, Ramon Ramirez didn't want to go to America. What's his name? Beto Aspe didn't want to go to America. So it's like when that type of stuff happens, it's like you're asking for it. I think Gullit Peña. I'm not saying that he's going to find himself, in Scotland, but I think going to Scotland with Caixinha, obviously a coach that knows, of Gullit Peña, I think that works to his advantage. As opposed, I think that works out.
Maybe he'll find a good gang of friends and they can go do train spotting and stuff.
I can't wait for that movie to come out. Yeah. The second one.
Oh, isn't it? I thought it was already.
I could definitely see pictures of Gullit with his face in the toilet.
And I'm just gonna open it and do the pop.
I think I know that I saw a movie trailer of the second one. I don't know if it's out yet, but I can't wait to watch it. I love the first one.
Oh yeah, the first one is one of my definitely on my top 10 list. There's no question about that.
Aside from obviously the war movies and stuff like that, the British flicks, war movies like Battle of Britain and stuff like that, and that's probably the movie. Trainspotting is probably the movie that got me into watching a lot of more British movies. Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and more of the modern stuff.
Right. No, it's a great. Danny Boyle's one of those guys that I'll see whatever movie he directs, and just kind of like, and I feel the same way about Guy Ritchie who did Snatch. So I do completely understand that. And Mexico is going to be playing Croatia this weekend in Los Angeles, and a few days later they'll be playing, I believe, is it Ireland and New York. Chiquis, I've been seeing that the national team players are all over the Instagrams and the Twitters and everything. They're like singing some song. What the hell are they singing, Chiquis?
I must have been out of loop. I didn't see no song.
Come on, Chiquis. You're our guy. You keep up with that stuff.
I check it out right now. All I saw was Chicharito making fun of Hermoso Pechocho, Orbelín, not Orbelín, Oribe Peralta.
What was he saying?
He was calling him Hermoso Pechocho Culo. Typical stuff. Let me check it out. I haven't seen.
What is going on with our Chicharito? He a lot more active on the Twitter. It seems like his days at Bayern are over. He broke up with the girl. He had the fling with the actress. Is our young boy becoming a professional athlete in every sense of the word?
Well, he's got some friend, like his best friend is some girl he's been hanging around with. So I think he's just having a good time.
And how do you feel about that, Chiquis? I know that you're what does your moral compass say about Chicharito?
I think it's good. I like a guy who can go and put himself out there to the fans. Of course, the most important thing is the play on the field, and right now it's not doing well. So he's like messing around and stuff and not concentrating, but just wants to make the next step. Then I don't know. I'd rather see him play well instead of playing around on Instagram and stuff. But if he can do both, he can do both.
Hey, if he returns in 2018 to Chivas, then there's your championship, man.
Now, a couple of things have happened with Chicharito as far as news on the field. Is that I know he was linked to I think it was Lyon in France, past couple of days. So I mean, it is pretty apparent that his days at Bayern or at Leverkusen are probably over. But he does have 1 year before a World Cup. So if he's going to, if he did move somewhere, he would probably move somewhere where he would, hopefully be the, penciled in as a starter. And then just today, some folks are saying that that the price tag that he was asking for to come over and play at LAFC was a little too rich for them. So it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Apparently, it was double what he's making right now.
Hey, Mourinho seems to fancy him, John.
He does. You think that, and I know that there are a lot, that a lot of Manchester United fans have always really liked him. It wasn't if he was a failure at Manchester. That's what I've never understood about. He as far as I'm concerned, he had a very solid, if not, borderline spectacular career at Manchester. The years he played at Manchester United. He was a very solid contributor while he played there. So I've never really understood why folks, they say, well, he didn't start. He didn't have to start. He still, whenever he got minutes, he more than took advantage of it. So yeah, that would certainly be interesting if for him to go back there. I do think that wherever he goes, he's going to go to a team that's either playing Champions League or Europa League. I don't think that Chicharito's going to waste his time going anywhere else. So, little exercise for you folks out there that are listening. If you think Chicharito's going to move, think of the countries you think that he might go to, and then look at the squads that are playing those teams and see which one is in desperate need of a striker, and that's going to be a pretty good chance of where he might end up if he doesn't end up playing for Leverkusen next year. And who knows, maybe he will with a new coach, but I think with them not being in Europe, he's not going to want to do that. Well, gentlemen, I guess before we wrap it up here, I do want to take your final prediction of what's going to happen. Looks like we did lose Dan, but we'll go ahead and start with you, Ronnie, since you're on the West Coast. So thank you for staying up with us. What's going to happen, Ron? Who wins?
I have to agree with Joel. I think it's 40-60. I think Tigres has a better chance of taking it. Momentum. I think that the players, are more mañosos.
Right.
They've obviously played more games of this caliber in the last past couple of years.
And it's not the dark arts that they can take advantage of. It's more their guile. You really need a lot of, especially in a sport like soccer, there just has to be a lot more bravado as far as what you can not necessarily get away with, but what you can try. And Tigres has guys that have a lot more of that one than what Chivas have, and I think that's going to be a big difference.
Yeah, but the dark arts. I'm not saying that that's the only reason, but it helps. Think of the little altercation that La Volpe and Guignac had. Obviously that there was an expulsion. Shortly after that, and I honestly I think, and like I said, I'm not just saying fooling the refs and stuff like that. I'm just saying that much more than that. When you consider that you have to know how to play these type of games, and obviously Tigres knows how to play these games. They've won championships, league titles the last couple of years. So I just think that I think they have a better roster, obviously, than Chivas. I think that
they got everything going for them.
Yeah.
All right, Chickies, what's going to happen?
I'll give the scenarios. If Chivas wins, it's going to be high, and they're going to win in penales, because just as it's done, sort of what Chiva Hermano said, that they've been able to get it done one way or the other, de panzazo, however. So if it happens, that's how it's going to happen. But I think Metalero's right in a 2-1 win by Tigres or a 1-0 win, and they take it.
Joel, do you want to echar sal, or are you gonna abstain from making a prediction?
No, John. Tigres favorite, but the Chihuahua Comet stays in orbit.
Wow. I'm proud of you, Joel. I'm proud of you.
It's you see the pattern with a lot of the teams, and then we saw it when Hans had the Chivas team, and they did they lose a final or a semi? I remember they lost to Pumas.
In 2004.
Yeah, and then
But then
shortly
they
after.
stuck around for a bit, yeah.
Yeah, so shortly after, but they maintained the squad, so that's going to be key to maintain at least the core group, and also to get good managers, because some of the managers that were coming in, like Oscar Gorta and Bustos, they were just not the right managers for the club. So it's also being able to bring a quality coach.
And would you consider Matias Almeida a quality coach?
He's proven himself. I never said he was bad.
I'm not saying that you said he was bad. Okay, so you said, okay, good.
I just get attacked on this a lot, John.
I'm not attacking you, Joel. Hey, cálmate, güey.
Oh, sacan las uñas, John. No, he is good. He is good. He has to be ranked up there right now.
Well,
in Liga MX.
Well,
At least because he's been consistent, So I have to give him that, to be able to finish in top 4, and he's, even if it's Copa MX, but just to be able to win them, and to have the team playing finals, and that's very commendable. So he is a good coach. He's one of the better ones right now.
The way I see it is if the game is over in 90 minutes, if it's a champion in 90 minutes, it's going to be Tigres. And I agree with Chiquis. If it goes to extra time, then it goes to penalties, and then Chivas pulls it out. Because Cota will end up being the hero. But if someone wins and it's also because they've done penalty kicks with twice already this year. So it's something that they're kind of used to. So and they have, for folks to say that the Chivas hasn't played finals, yes, it is Copa MX, but they have, obviously the magnitude is totally different, but it's not as if they haven't had just a little taste. And now they have a first leg of it. So
and then they have like Pizarro, who played with Pachuca, and then the other guy who played with León.
The only thing that if Chivas learns that they cannot second guess themselves when they want to take a chance, they cannot hesitate. They just have to just pull the trigger, whether it goes in or not. It doesn't matter. But you cannot score or unless if you don't shoot. So they need to do that a lot more. And that was the one thing I noticed tonight, is that they just seemed to hesitate. There were so many chances that the guys had to pull the trigger, and they didn't do it. So we'll see if that changes in Guadalajara. But Joel seems to think that the Chivas is going to be around for a while if they can maintain their team together. That could be. Okay, so the Chivas Comet will turn into the Chivas Satellite. Then Joel is what will end up happening.
Yeah, but on a disclaimer, John, they might not make the next liguilla, just because we've seen the odds there.
But it's different though, because they have a lot more time off between the clausura and the apertura, because it's not going to kick off till late, so that they will have the opportunity to give the players rest and to do a proper preseason. But it's much harder. Go ahead.
No, but I still think one of the two is likely to not. But even if they didn't, I still wouldn't say, because that's still half a season. You know what I mean?
You want to know what my
because a lot of teams,
what my fichaje bomba is going to be for Chivas this summer?
They're saying it's Dam.
Nope.
What you're saying? It's Aquino.
It's going to be Carlos Vela.
Oh,
hey,
no.
Joel, if you're Almeida, do you react, or do you propose the style and the tempo?
Oh man, that's a tough one right there.
Because if Tuca's going to play cat and mouse,
But Tuca isn't going to play cat and mouse. Tuca hasn't been playing cat and mouse. He wants his team to have the ball.
I think under the last final, and even to a certain degree against Pachuca, he played cat and mouse.
But he didn't though, because I mean, at least in the second leg in Pachuca, they dominated possession. But the problem was that every time that the Pachuca went on a counter, they would have to bring down Chucky, and his entire back line got a yellow card.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, he was not playing. I mean, he hasn't been playing like that. I mean, they have been dominating possession. Now, where Tuca is different than other coaches is that he, drills it into his players' heads that yes, we are going to go up, but that doesn't mean I want you guys to leave us overexposed in the back. That's never going to happen with him. At least not as much as with other coaches.
You know what I would have done? I scheduled this game in midday when it's the hottest, and I turn it into a Sunday pub league with patadas and all that. Let the grass, with the grass up to your knees, and just
make it look like they're playing in El Salvador.
Put down the shirts for the shirt. Take the goalposts out. Put the shirts down for the goals.
Pretty much butter up the ref a little bit before the game. Tell him to go easy on the cards because it's the gran final, and just hack fist, man.
Now,
go Italian from the catenaccio. What happened?
What do you do to make sure that their laterals, los laterales, aren't so on the offensive, where that they're also retreating and defending?
Well, I'll say part of it is having yours attack just as much, Force them to do some work in defense.
But that's the problem against Tigres, is that if you do that, then Ron, they will totally hit you on the counter, and they're just absolutely lethal at it.
But the thing is, John, if you're gonna sit back, you give Aquino, you give Damian Alvarez, and or you give what's his name on the other side, you give Dam, you basically give them the flank, and they'll kill you. So I agree. You got to give them. You have to get them tired, and by getting them tired, you're going to have to attack. So they go back, and they're running as much as the other guys marking them. Yeah, it's.
And the other thing that I thought Chivas did really well tonight, I think that's something they should absolutely exploit, is that they really took advantage of the kind of slowish, at least central defenders. They were getting in the gaps, and now their angles weren't necessarily as good, but they were definitely getting behind them. So that's something that they can certainly work on as well. But I do think that Tigres is going to have more of the possession, but I don't think that they're going to be exposed to the counter as if Chivas would have if they pushed up. So I mean, it's the goals are going to have to come. They're going to have to make them. And if I were Chivas, I'd work a lot on set pieces over the next few days, and maybe almost just exclusively on set pieces, and see if they can't squeeze one out that way. Because that Tigres is going to have the bulk of the ball, so take advantage of what you can do.
I think the worst thing that Chivas could do is score early. I mean, although it sucks to say that, I think that one of the worst things that could happen to Chivas is scoring really early in the game, and they sit back on it.
I see what you're saying. So that then end up happening to what happened to him tonight.
Yeah, what happened to what happened to America last time, and what happens to virtually every team that does that. I think that's one of the worst things. But now, do you think you'll Hawaii? Do you think you'll cry if Chivas wins, or are you told for that?
No, I've seen two campeonatos already with Tuca actually, and
You must be so
with
proud to
Chepo.
see
So
those whole two.
I'm already. Well, I mean, it's just if it was Libertadores, then maybe yeah, I would weep, man tears. But
What if they won the Club World Cup?
I would just be extremely proud, But I mean, it depends how they win it too. So if
All right.
depends how they win it. But
Well, Joel, for your sake, I hope that things will work out for you. I know that I would say the same to Chiquis. For your sake, I hope things work out for you as well, Chiquis. I know that you're pulling for your gatitos. Ron, I think you just want to see a bloodbath.
I just want to see lols. Either way, I just want to troll. I want to troll afterwards.
I understand that. Yeah, you just you'll.
I'm working already on my photoshopping memes and stuff like that. So
you're ready to go. You're ready to go. You have all your arsenal.
Yeah.
Is prepared and ready to go. Well, that'll wrap it up here on the CantinaMX podcast. Do appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be out in LA this week, Joel and I, for the Mexico-Croatia match over at the Coliseum, which isn't too far from where you live, right, Joel? It's like right down the street.
pretty close, John. Good 5-10 minutes, depending traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe I should come pick you up then, Joel. It seems like that would make more sense.
That would, yes. I got a parking spot too, in case you don't get a press parking pass.
Oh, I wasn't even planning on getting a press parking pass.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't even think that they would even give them out.
No, they do. Yeah, you have to go before they run out.
Oh.
Sergio is saying, "Pinche Joel, holla at your boy," and Salvador Metal is telling, "Watch your wallet, John."
I have to watch my wallet because John is the chilango. So
that is
That's
true.
right.
That is true.
Luckily, we're not taking the metro there, because if we go in that metro train, and then I would just play right into that.
When I was in Mexico City, I was like 1993. I took the metro as much as possible to go around the city. I was far and away the tallest. I mean, I'm barely 6 feet, and I was far and away the tallest dude in the metro. It was really weird. Just tower over these people's heads. It was a very very strange feeling. But anyway, so we go ahead, Chiquis.
I said that was in southern Mexico.
No, it was in Mexico City. But it was in the southern part of the city. Oddly enough. Oddly enough.
Chiquis bringing the high niveles.
Wrong with that.
But anyway, we do thank you guys for listening. Chiquis, thanks so much for taking care of everything you guys. You always do. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Ron, thanks for joining us. I know it's late up there in Philadelphia.
Metal saying it was in Toluca. I think he's taking a stab at me. Bastard.
I couldn't imagine. Joel?
We had a lot of activity today on the chat.
Yeah, we should do. They should have finals more often. It seems like we get better traffic when there's finals.
Yeah, we had Sergio and we had Christian and Salvador and a bunch of other guys.
We even had like 4 callers on at once, which was a record for us here on the CantinaMX podcast. Hopefully we'll do that again. But anyway, this has been the show. We do appreciate y'all doing this. Please tune in next Thursday night again. Around we'll be back to hopefully our regular time at 9:30 p.m. Central, which is 7:30 on the West Coast, 10:30 on the East Coast, and 8:30 in the Mountain Time Zone as well. But my name is John Jagu. On behalf of all of us here at the CantinaMX podcast, wish you guys a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend here in the U.S. And we'll talk to you guys again next week. Thanks everyone for listening, participating on the chat, and calling in. We really appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys next week.